Welcome to Locked and Loaded Sports. It's time to lock in, load up, and win big. If you're serious about sports and love cashing in on solid picks, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. In this video, we will discuss Week 3 NFL Sunday picks for every game using a blend of historical data, advanced sports analytics, and real-world sentiment to deliver sharp and sometimes contrarian betting picks. We are starting off our video at the Dog Pound, where the Cleveland Browns host the Green Bay Packers. And the Browns are gearing up for a fight. The Dog Pound will be barking, and the Browns have something to prove after getting blown out in Baltimore last week, 41-17. It was close early, 10-3 at the half, but the Ravens slammed the door in the second, outscoring Cleveland 31-14. Joe Flacco was picked off by Nate Wiggins, who took it 60 yards the other way, setting up a back-breaking touchdown. The Browns couldn't recover. Now they face a red-hot Green Bay Packers squad that's coming in with serious momentum. On Thursday night, Jordan Love threw for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading the Packers to a 27-18 win over the Washington Commanders. That came just days after a 27-13 win over the Detroit Lions. That's 2 wins over 2024 playoff teams in 5 days. Love went 19-31, showing poise, accuracy, and full command of the offense. ESPN now ranks him as a top fantasy QB, and he's finally healthy and playing like it. And the supporting cast, it's clicking. Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, and Micah Parsons are forming a 3-headed monster. Jacobs punishing defenses on the ground, Kraft emerging as a breakout star, and Parsons wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks every snap. The Browns won't go quietly. Myles Garrett can still take over a game, Denzel Ward will be physical at the line, and Jerry Jeudy is always one play away from flipping the script. Cleveland is gritty, and they're always dangerous at home. But Green Bay has the better quarterback, the hotter hand, and the deeper roster. They're executing, they're confident, and they're 2-0 against playoff teams already. We're getting locked and loaded with the Packers to cover. And now we are taking you to Minneapolis, where the Minnesota Vikings host the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 3. Cincinnati pulled out a dramatic 31-27 win over the Jaguars on Sunday, but it came at a steep price. Franchise quarterback Joe Burrow left in the first half with a left toe injury and did not return. He exited the locker room in a walking boot and on crutches, and it looks like he is out not just for Week 3, but could be 3 months. Jake Browning came off the bench and delivered a gutsy, if erratic, performance. He threw 3 interceptions, but also accounted for 3 total touchdowns, including the go-ahead 1-yard sneak with just 18 seconds left. Browning's highlight came on a 42-yard strike to T. Higgins in the fourth quarter, and Jamar Chase bounced back in a big way with 14 receptions for 165 yards. But Cincinnati's offense remained volatile, scoring on just 4 of 8 drives under Browning, and their defense failed to take advantage of multiple turnovers. To make matters worse, first-round rookie pass rusher Shamar Stewart exited late with an injury, weakening a defensive front that already gave up over 400 yards. The Vikings, meanwhile, are looking to rebound from a frustrating 22-6 loss in Atlanta, a game where second-year quarterback J.J. McCarthy endured growing pains. McCarthy was sacked 6 times, turned the ball over 3 times, and struggled to sustain drives through 3 quarters. But Minnesota did show flashes, most notably a bold call by head coach Kevin O'Connell late in the first half, letting McCarthy rip a 50-yard bomb to Justin Jefferson that set up a last-second field goal before the break. Jefferson remains the engine of this offense, finishing with 3 catches for 81 yards despite the limited opportunities. If the offensive line can hold up and McCarthy plays a cleaner game, the Vikings have a great shot to take control, especially against the Bengals defense that looks shaky in coverage and is banged up in the trenches. With Burrow sidelined and Browning facing a hostile road environment, expect Minnesota to dial up pressure, feed Jefferson early, and put McCarthy in position to build confidence at home. We're getting locked and loaded with the Vikings to win. We hope you're enjoying these predictions. Remember to hit that like button. Next up, we head to Northwest Stadium, where the Las Vegas Raiders face off against the Washington Commanders in a game that sets up as a sneaky strong play on the total, not the side. Both teams are coming off frustrating Week 2 performances. Washington dropped a 27-18 decision to the Packers, and while this offense has shown flashes overall, Week 2 was a clear step back. The Commanders gained just 11 total yards in the first quarter and didn't reach the end zone until the fourth. Quarterback Jaden Daniels was held to 200 passing yards and sacked 4 times, struggling to find rhythm behind a shaky offensive line. That's a concerning setup with Max Crosby and the Raiders' front 7 coming to town. Crosby, one of the league's premier pass rushers, who should have plenty of opportunities to make an impact against the Washington offense that's still ironing out protection issues. Compounding the concern is the injury to Austin Ekeler, who exited last week with a right Achilles issue. If he can't go, the Commanders lose a key weapon in both the run and pass game, further limiting their offensive ceiling, at least for this week. Meanwhile, the Raiders are leaning heavily on Ashton Jeanty, which favors a slower-paced game, especially on the road. According to NationalFootballPost.com, the total has gone under in 4 of Las Vegas's last 5 road games against Washington. The total has gone under in 4 of Washington's last 6 games. With protection issues on both sides, top defensive playmakers, and the potential for long, clock-draining drives. This game shapes up to be far more methodical than explosive. We're getting locked and loaded with the under with a lean on the Raiders. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly videos. Our next matchup takes us down to Raymond James Stadium, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the New York Jets in a matchup that might be closer than most expect. The Jets are coming off a rough 30-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Quarterback Justin Fields completed just 3 of 11 passes for 27 yards before leaving the game in the fourth quarter with a concussion after a sack by Joey Bosa. In his place, veteran Tyrod Taylor took over, and while the offense struggled overall, there's reason to believe he can steady the ship in Week 3. Garrett Wilson was held to just 4 catches for 50 yards, and the Jets' run game, so effective in their Week 1 win over Pittsburgh, failed to find traction against the Bills' front. But with Taylor likely under center and the team looking to respond, this shapes up as a bounce-back opportunity, even on the road. Tampa Bay has looked sharp. Baker Mayfield has developed strong chemistry with Mike Evans, and rookie receiver Emeka Ibuka is already showing flashes of star potential. The Bucs are at home and will be favored, but this matchup has some sneaky historical context that shouldn't be ignored. According to StatMuse, the Buccaneers are just 3-10 all-time against the Jets, and the last time they covered a spread larger than 5 points in this matchup was all the way back in 1984. That's not a fluke. The Jets have consistently made things difficult for Tampa Bay, regardless of record or roster. Yes, betting against Mayfield at home is risky, especially with how clean he's been playing. But this spot feels ripe for a letdown, and the Jets, even with a backup QB, still have enough talent on defense to disrupt Tampa's rhythm and keep this one inside the number. We're going against the public perception and getting locked and loaded with the Jets to cover on the road. And now we head to Music City in Tennessee, where the Titans host the Indianapolis Colts in a classic AFC South showdown, one team riding momentum, the other searching for answers under a second-year head coach. The Titans, led by coach Brian Callahan, return home after a deflating 33-19 loss to the Rams. Tennessee actually led 13-10 at halftime and held a 16-13 lead in the third, but the Rams flipped the switch and pulled away late. Rookie QB Ward went 19 of 33 for 175 yards and tossed his first career touchdown, but the offense struggled to finish drives. Kicker Joey Slye knocked through 4 field goals, and Cody Barton snagged an interception, but this defense faded in crunch time again. Now they face a red-hot Indianapolis Colts squad off to their first 2-0 start since 2009 after a wild 29-28 win over the Denver Broncos at home. Rookie kicker Spencer Schrader missed a 60-yard game winner, but a Broncos leverage penalty gave him a second shot, and he nailed a 45-yarder to win it as time expired. The story continues to be quarterback Jones, who threw for 316 yards on 23 of 34 passing, added a rushing touchdown, and looked cool under pressure in just his second start. He's playing efficient, confident football, and the offense is clicking around him. The Colts are growing fast. Jones, Schrader, and a defense that's closing games are giving this team a real identity. Callahan's Titans will fight. They've shown grit. But right now, Indy has the better quarterback, the momentum, and the late-game execution. We are getting locked and loaded with the Colts to win. Don't forget to comment with your favorite pick of the week. And now we are headed to Foxborough, where the New England Patriots host the Pittsburgh Steelers in what promises to be a hard-fought AFC matchup. The Patriots are coming off an emotional and gutsy 33-27 victory over the Miami Dolphins, a win that marked Vrabel's first as head coach of the Patriots. Second-year quarterback Drake May was nearly flawless, completing 19 of 23 passes for 230 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns and rushing for another. Running back Ramondre Stevenson was a force on the ground and through the air, finishing with 142 total yards, 88 receiving, 54 rushing, making the Patriots' offense balanced and dynamic. Meanwhile, the Steelers 1-1 are struggling to find their rhythm. In Week 2, they fell 31-17 to the Seahawks, never threatening to overcome a 10-point deficit. Veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers, in his home debut for Pittsburgh, looked off his game, completing 18 of 33 for 203 yards, but tossing 2 interceptions alongside just 1 touchdown. DK Metcalf, usually a big playmaker, was limited to 20 yards and 1 short touchdown, largely neutralized by his former team. The Steelers' defense, too, has been underwhelming, giving up too many yards and points in consecutive weeks. The Patriots' defense and offense are firing on all cylinders. We are getting locked and loaded with the Patriots to cover. We're headed to Philadelphia, where the Eagles welcome the Los Angeles Rams for a high-stakes NFC showdown. The Eagles coming off a hard-fought 2017 win over the Kansas City Chiefs, fueled by a stingy and opportunistic defense that came up big when it mattered most. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley both found the end zone on touchdown runs. Hurts threw for just 101 yards and Barkley was held to 88 rushing yards. But the Eagles limited the Chiefs to 294 total yards, stopped them on a critical 4th down, and forced the only turnover in a low-scoring defensive battle. Mahomes once again struggled to find open targets, finishing with just 187 passing yards. Meanwhile, the Rams, who are 2-0, showed their offensive firepower in a 33-19 victory over the Tennessee Titans. They scored 20 straight points to overcome rookie QB Cam Ward's home debut. Wide receiver Puka Nacua was a dynamic playmaker, racking up 91 receiving yards and a 45-yard touchdown run, so while Devontae Adams caught a touchdown and totaled 106 yards. Quarterback Matthew Stafford threw for 298 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading a Rams offense that can strike quickly and efficiently. Defensively, linebacker Byron Young made an impact with 2 sacks and a forced fumble, helping to pressure the number 1 overall pick 5 times. The Rams bring a balanced attack, but the Eagles' defense has proven it can slow down elite offenses and make key plays at the right moments. Hurts doesn't need to light up the stat sheet. His ground game and defensive support will carry the day. Expect Philadelphia to control the line of scrimmage and hold serve at home. We are getting locked and loaded with the Eagles to cover. We're headed to the Pacific Northwest, where the New Orleans Saints will look to get their first win of the season against a formidable Seattle Seahawks team at Lumen Field. The Saints, under second-year QB Spencer Rattler and first-year head coach Kellen Moore, are off to an 0-2 start, with both losses coming at home by a touchdown or less. In Week 2, they dropped a 26-21 heartbreaker to the San Francisco 49ers, despite Rattler throwing for 207 yards and a career-high 3 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara rushed for 99 yards, but a costly third-quarter fumble in 49ers territory took the wind out of New Orleans' momentum. Once again, the Saints had the ball late with a chance to tie or win and came up short. They've shown flashes, and Prilson mistakes and missed chances have defined the early part of the season. Meanwhile, the Seahawks look sharp and composed in a 31-17 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. After 2 first-half interceptions by Sam Darnold, Seattle flipped the switch, outscoring Pittsburgh 24-3 in the second half and never looking back. Darnold rebounded the finish with 295 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Kenneth Walker capped it off with 105 rushing yards, including a back-breaking 19-yard touchdown run on 3rd and goal late in the 4th. Seattle is playing complete football, efficient on offense, opportunistic on defense, and physical in the trenches. Yes, the Saints are desperate. But desperation doesn't always equal execution, especially on the road in one of the league's loudest environments. The Seahawks are dialed in, balanced, and they've proven they can finish games. We are getting locked and loaded with the Seahawks to cover. Moving on to Los Angeles, where the weather is nice and the beer should be on ice. We head out to SoFi Stadium for a classic AFC West showdown, where the Chargers host the Denver Broncos, and history suggests this one could follow a familiar script. The Chargers swept the season series against Denver last year, and with Jim Harbaugh now at the helm, there's every reason to believe Los Angeles can do it again. Harbaugh's Chargers are starting to find their identity, physical at the line of scrimmage, methodical on offense, and slowly tightening up on the defensive side. The Broncos, meanwhile, are coming off a gut-wrenching 29-28 loss to the Colts in Week 2. Quarterback Bo Nix played well early, throwing for 3 touchdowns in the first half and finishing 22 of 30 for 206 yards. But Denver's offense stalled in the second half, and questions remain about their ability to finish games, especially on the road. Running back R.J. Harvey continues to underwhelm, and while J.K. Dobbins provided a spark with a touchdown, this backfield remains inconsistent. That makes life tougher for Nix, especially against a Chargers pass rush that's built to tee off when the run game isn't a threat. One of Denver's biggest concerns heading into this matchup is the health of star cornerback Patrick Surtain, last season's NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He exited last week with an ankle injury, but later returned still. It is unclear if he'll be 100% for this game, and that's a big ask against the Chargers receiving corps. This is a divisional game, and Harbaugh has a history of handling business at home. We're getting locked and loaded with the Chargers to win at home. For our next matchup, we go to Soldier Field, where the Chicago Bears host the surging Dallas Cowboys. Coming off a thrilling 40-37 overtime win over the Giants, the Cowboys who are 1-1 are building momentum heading into Week 3. Dak Prescott looks locked in after throwing for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns on 52 attempts, extending his dominance over NFC East opponents and leading Dallas to its 9th straight win in the rivalry. CeeDee Lamb continues to be Prescott's go-to weapon, recording his 4th consecutive 100-yard game dating back to last season, including 2 clutch grabs in the final moments. Dallas made a key defensive addition this week, signing veteran edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney. The 3-time Pro Bowler had 5.5 sacks last season and brings a disruptive presence to a defense that will look to pressure Chicago's rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. Williams, the number 1 overall pick, showed flashes in Week 2, including 2 touchdown passes to Odunze. But he also threw a costly interception and was pulled midway through the 4th quarter of a 52-21 blowout loss to Detroit. Chicago's offensive line struggled to keep him upright, and the defense couldn't keep pace with the Lions' attack. Against a red-hot Dallas offense and an upgraded pass rush, the Bears could be in for another long afternoon. We are getting locked and loaded with the Cowboys to cover. Moving on to Northern California, where the Arizona Cardinals visit Levi's Stadium to take on the San Francisco 49ers in a key NFC West showdown. The Cardinals secured a hard-fought 27-22 victory over the Panthers in Week 2, powered by Kyler Murray's sharp play. Murray completed 17 of 25 passes for 220 yards and added a spectacular 30-yard scramble in the fourth quarter. Tight end Trey McBride continues to emerge as a reliable weapon, catching 6 passes for 78 yards, while running back James Conner contributed a crucial 2-yard touchdown run. Arizona's defense also got a boost from edge rusher Josh Sweat, who helped apply pressure and slow down the Panthers' offense. On the other side, the 49ers overcame the absence of starting quarterback Brock Purdy with a poised performance from Mac Jones. Jones threw for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 26-21 win over the Saints, connecting with 8 different receivers, including scoring passes to Luke Farrell, Christian McCaffrey, and a 42-yard bomb to Jawan Jennings late in the fourth quarter to seal the victory. This season marks the 4th time since 2019 that San Francisco has opened with consecutive road wins, a trend that's historically led to deep playoff runs. Now back on their home turf with a defense that bends but rarely breaks, the 49ers are primed to assert control against the division rival. While Arizona showed flashes of promise, they face a steep challenge. San Francisco's front seven is built to contain mobile quarterbacks like Murray, and their opportunistic secondary will be looking to create turnovers. With the home crowd behind them and momentum on their side, the 49ers should dictate the pace. We are getting locked and loaded with the 49ers to win at home. For our last game to break down, we head to MetLife Stadium for Sunday Night Football, where the New York Giants host the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are off to a surprising 0-2 start for the first time since 2014, following a 2017 loss to the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes threw for just 187 yards and once again struggled to find consistent targets, with top wide receiver Rashee Rice suspended and rookie Xavier Worthy sidelined by injury. While Mahomes continues to do everything he can, including rushing for 66 yards and a touchdown, it's clear the Chiefs' offense isn't built to thrive with him being the primary running threat week after week. He's led the team in rushing in both games this season, but with limited help from the backfield and inconsistent play from his receivers, Mahomes has been forced to put his body on the line just to keep drives alive. It's not a sustainable formula. On the other side, the Giants are starting to hit their stride. Veteran quarterback Russell Wilson lit up the Cowboys in Week 2, completing 30 of 41 passes for 450 yards. Rookie Cam Skatibo scored his first career touchdown, and wideout Malik Neighbors exploded for 167 yards and 2 scores on 9 catches. New York's defense has also come to life. After recording 3 sacks in the season opener, something they hadn't done since 2011, the Giants followed it up with 3 more sacks against Dallas. The Giants are playing fast, physical, and disruptive defense. Expect them to have a creative mix of pressures to keep Mahomes contained and force the ball into the hands of unproven playmakers. Kansas City is always dangerous with Mahomes under center, but we are getting locked and loaded with the Giants to cover. That wraps up another breakdown here on Locked and Loaded Sports. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest sports analysis and betting insights. More picks, more locks, and more action is coming your way. That's all for now. Stay sharp, stay ready, and get locked and loaded.